So hope my screen is visible, guys. I think we can begin. It's already 6:33. Yeah, right. So just to recollect what we discussed in the last session, I think our functions we discussed, right? List operations we discussed. So different ways of reading the input using map, eval. I think you got some clarity in the last session. Okay, just to check your knowledge. Okay. So can anyone just quickly tell me what is the way to read the data using this line? What does it do? Yes. So why I'm getting value error here? What is the problem? Anyone? Quickly. This is the list compression technique, right? So we discussed in the last session, right? So I'm entering the size of the list, then I'm entering the values. What is the problem with this code? Or is there anything wrong that I'm doing? I think we should give him new lines. Okay. Nikhil is the only person who responded, right? So 5 is the number of elements. Okay. So as you can see, it works fine. I enter the data on the new line. Please be careful with the syntaxes. Remember always, whenever you use range function inside the list comprehension, you have to enter for I in range. When you say, you have to enter one by one. Okay. So what is the one more way I taught you in the last session? Suppose if you want to read all of them on the same line. So int of 5 for I in input dot split. Correct. So here you need not worry about the range or length of the input. You can keep adding as many elements as you want. Okay. Then you can print the values. So this is the second way where you are not mentioning the size of the list, but you are entering all the elements on the same line. Okay, so quickly, one more last question. Suppose okay, so eval also I discussed. What is the problem with this input? Whatever I am entering, can anyone tell me what is the mistake I'm doing? Very good. So whenever you are using eval function, always you need to enter the elements separated by comma, right? So now you won't face any problem. So these are very powerful methods. Just keep practicing them. Otherwise, you'll get a lot of syntactical errors. Until you practice them, you can't keep remembering them, right? So day-to-day practice is required. Okay. Then similarly, we also learned map function, right? So map function, how does it work? So I want to enter the list of integer values separated by space using map. So inside the map, you have to give the data type followed by input dot split. So here you are entering the data separated by space. Okay, so correct. You saw there are four different ways of reading the input. I showed you guys using the list and list comprehension and using range function as well as eval and map. So please remember this for at least these four methods. You should always remember. So eval with comma, map with space, right? Range to enter the data on the new line. So be depending on the test case, you have to use this the four different ways. Hope you got recollected whatever we discussed in the last session. Okay. Yeah. So last session, I think we just spoke about this problem, right? So what is this problem? Read a list by ignoring the duplicates, print the list with unique elements. Correct. So we wanted to print the list with the unique elements by ignoring the duplicate elements, right? So this is the basic brute force approach, which I explained, where we are comparing original list with a new list. Initially, 2 we add into the B, right? Then we compare 3 with 2, 3 and 2 different numbers. So we update 3 into the B. Similarly, 5 is different number, we update into B. Again, we are encountering 5 here, so we remove that. So only if that X is not in B, we are appending, right? So it's a simple question. Somebody gave this solution, right? But it was a bit difficult to understand. Did anyone try this one? What is happening here? Can anyone explain? For I in range, if I equal to array dot index of array of I. So in general, how many of you understood this? I mean, right, this particular approach for I in range L, if I equal to array dot index of I, array of I. So what is the exact operation that is happening here? As I told you, time complexity is same here. All of them are having the equal time complexity. So in terms of time complexity, all are equal only. So there is no difference. But in terms of different solutions, you should be able to understand. Correct. So anyone can tell me if they understood or not this particular solution, because it's a bit tricky. What we are trying to do here. So are we comparing the value or are we comparing the index position? Anyone? Okay, index. Very good. So let's just quickly, because many people, some people told me, sir, it's very difficult to understand this, right? So suppose here, what are the values? 1, 5, 4, 3, 5, 6, right? So what you are comparing, initially I value is 0. Array of 5 for I in range, if I equal to array dot index of 5. So you are comparing the index positions, right? So initial value is what? 0. Then you are comparing array dot index of array of 5. So array of 0 is what? 1. So 0 is not equal to 1. So what you are trying to do, if I equal to array dot index of array of I. I mean index of array of I, not 1. So what is the index of 1 here? That is also 0. So both of them are same. So we update this one into the new result, right? So in the result, what we did, we copied 1. Correct. Next, we increment I becomes 1. Then again, we check if I equal to array dot index of array of Y, that is array of 1. So what is array of 5 here? So that is also 1. So index we are comparing basically. This is also true condition we are adding. Next, what we do, we take I as 2, 2 equal to array dot index of array of 2. So array of 2 means what is there in position 2? 4. So that is, we will also return the index of 4, which is 2. So this is also true. We add 4 into the list. So similarly, we compare the next element 3. So 3 we are comparing with 3, correct? So it is true. We add 3 into the list. Next element is 5. Here it is the condition. So what is the value of 5? 5, right? Now array dot index of array of 5, right? So can anyone tell me at this point what does it will return? Will it return 5 or will it return something else at this point? So to understand this code, you should always have the syntactical analysis of this index function. So index function always returns the first occurrence of that particular value. So at this point, array of I is nothing but array of 5. So what is the array of 5? This one, right? So we are trying to find out the first position where the fifth value is appearing in the list. First occurrence, right? So first occurrence is at 1th position. So this instead of 5, it will return 1, correct? So 5 is not equal to 1, so we don't append this into the result. Then we are moved to we just keep that one. We go to the next element, that is 6. Then again 6 equal to 6, it will be true. We will add 6 into our final list. So this will be our updated list. So in this way, this is the concept that is going to work out. Understood? So basically, we are comparing the index value. So if you are not able to think this logic, you can leave it, but at least brute force you should be able to know it. Then somebody sent me this logic also. So I want you guys to just analyze for 2 minutes and let me know what is happening here. Okay. So same code with little bit modification. So I'm highlighting the sentence here. So anyone can tell me what is happening here. Don't need to understand the complete code, but at least what is the logic of this particular line, what you're seeing here. The same program, you saw 3 different approaches, correct? So what is this approach? So here, instead of index function, they are using slicing concept. So at least by saying that, you can understand colon is there means obviously there is a slicing concept involved here. So anyone can tell me what is the logic of this? Yeah, slicing is fine, but how the comparison happening? So you should be able to justify your answer. That much I want. Whatever you are learning, you should be able to understand it in and out. So here, slicing is used obviously, but what is the logic here? Better writing. So I'll use. Okay. Right. Suppose this is the input. Now here, take the same approach, whatever I mentioned here. So LFI for I in range of L, if LFI not in L colon I. So that is a syntax, right? So L colon I is the syntax. So what is this doing? Can you tell me what do you mean by this line? For every I, so basically what they're doing, you take the first index, right? For every I, what is the index of this? 0. Okay. This index is 0. So we are trying to create new list. Okay. For every I, we are comparing that index up to the ith index. So what do you mean by this I? So L of I for I in range of L, if L of I not in L of I. That means if L of 0 not in L of 0. So initially it is empty, right? So we add 3 into the result. Next, what we do? I gets incremented. What is our I value going to be? So our I value will be 1 right here. So we reach to first position. Then this will get updated to L of colon. I value get updated to 3. I mean, sorry, 1. So now what we are comparing? We are checking whether this 4 is there in this result list or not. So 4 is not there in 3. So condition is true. So what we do? We update this 4 also inside the result. Now I value gets incremented to 2. So this 1 becomes 2 now. So what we are comparing? For every element that is there in the result, we are comparing the elements from the original list up to that particular index. So now what we are trying to do at this point is we are comparing the elements in the result, that is 3, 4, and we are checking with the input result up to 5. That means here. Correct. So now the second element is 5. So we are checking whether 5 is there in this 3, 4 or not. So obviously it is not there. So we will add that. Next element that is coming is 3. So that means our index get updated to 3. Now what we are checking? We are checking whether this new 3, whether this new 3 is existing in the previous element or not. So as you can check, 3 is already there here. So this is using slicing. So simple concept is next element we are comparing with the previous element. So if the next element is present in previous element means we don't add that. So in this case, 3 we won't add. Then we move to the next two element, that is 6. Again, 6 will compare with all the previous elements. So that is 6 will be compared with 3, 5, 4, 3. Since 6 is not there in the previous list, 6 will get added to the resultant list, correct? Then we go to the 4. 4 is already there in this particular previous list. So again, 4 will not be added. Then 10, it is not there. So 10 will be added. So this is using slicing. Okay. So to get these thoughts also, you require a lot of practice. It's not easy to solve the programs in this manner, right? So hope you got some clarity here. So what is happening in this code? Okay. Understood? Any doubt here in this third approach? The list is traversed until I and check if any same value is present. If present, ignores. Traverse the list from 0 to value of I. Okay. So hope you got understood. Yes, it is same as previous, but the way of writing is different. So people got getting confused. Sir, what is the difference between this and this? Somebody asked me, so that's why I'm explaining. Initially, many people cannot understand these Python syntaxes. The problem is different ways will be there. But if you understand it, definitely Python is very easy. Okay. Only thing is you need techniques to understand, or basics should be right to understand the logics, right? If you understand it, you will try to apply that into the different language, different problems. So that is how your practice should be. So understanding of the code is a very important skill. Okay. So anyway, today after completing the in between the session, I will take some live with session, not the model, right? So we will do live with session. So I will just interact with you guys, and we'll try to see how many of you are able to understand the code and trace it. Okay. Okay. So next, as I told you, we'll try to solve few more problems before going to the next topic based on the list. Then based on the list, whatever we discuss, I will conduct some coding snippet session immediately after this. So try to be active or take your time and think about the logic. I will give the logic. So those who are not able to understand, listen to my explanation. Those who can understand, try to solve immediately. And whenever I say, you can respond. You can post your answers in the chat box. Okay. Right. So we'll try to solve a few more problems based on the list. So read a string, or you can say read a list of string values. Okay. And find the words that are longer than given. Yeah. Okay. Now what you have to first read the n value in the next line. Read the string values separated by space. That is the requirement. Okay. So this is the question. So what we have to do in this question? Simple question, just to recollect your basics. So read a list of string values from the user, and you have to find the words that are longer than the given length n. That means you have to create another list where the values in that list are longer than the given length n. So you have to mention the n value on the screen, and in the next line you have to read the string of values separated by space. Okay. So you can use the normal brute force approach for this, or you can use list comprehension. Any one technique you can use it. Right. So try to solve this problem. Let me know. So before going to this, you can understand approach. So what should be your first line? N equal to int of input, right? That's what I'm expecting. You have to mention the length n. Then obviously you need to read the words one by one. So what is the function you will use? Input dot split. So here you are reading the list of string values separated by space. So this much is fine. Then what is my expectation? Third step is what? You have to create another list of words whose length is greater than the given n value, correct? That's what I'm expecting. So to understand this, let's take some basic example, right? Test case. For example, okay, so suppose this is my input. So how many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words are there. And assume n value as n value as 5. Okay, so assume n value as 5. Guess the output first. So what should be my output as per the question? Anyone? Yeah. Should be the output. Traverse the list from 0 to value. This test case, what should be the output? So it should be like, you have to create a, obviously it should be a new list where you have to the words that are longer than the given length. So longer or equal to. So what I said, longer in the sense. So grid we cannot consider. So it should be your first value. Then Python, is it longer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, Python will also come. Okay. That's all right. So this will be your output. So hope you understood the scenario. You have to find out the words in the given list of words whose length is greater than or longer than the given n value. That is the scenario. Okay, so let me see how many of you got it. So next time, don't send the output until I ask. Okay, Vijay Chandra, fine, you got the output, but let the people. So always maintain one notebook and write down whatever I'm asking. At least try one or two lines from your side. Then see where you are going wrong. So only when I ask you to reveal the output, you can reveal. But until then, let others try. Because let people take some time to think the logic. So maybe people are able to solve it quickly, no issue. So n equal to input, fine. So what is the technique here Nikhil has used? This is list comprehension. Okay. So let us try to say their logic one by one. Then we get to say where is the improvement if it is required. We'll discuss. So what should I enter? Right, college, wait, Python, shape. Okay, in this case, he has taken less than or equal to, so it is giving grid also as the output. Since longer than I said, so you can remove that equal to symbol. So this is using list comprehension, right? Okay, fine. Is a second approach, somebody. So now you can compare these two. Yeah, so you will see Kiranmay has used map, Nikhil has used normal split function, Vijay has used list comprehension, right? So each one of them are using different ways of reading the input. That is absolutely fine. So as long as you know what is the method that you are able to understand, that is fine. But you should compare the questions. Okay. You should, I mean, you should compare the analysis. So I feel here unnecessarily we are creating two lists, right? So it may not be required. X for, okay, here it is for reading, no problem. X for X in input dot split. But here, L of I for I in range, right? That means, see here, range is also taking O of n and even the for loop also O of n. So unnecessarily here time complexity is exceeding in this particular solution. Whereas this is much simpler, correct? This is much simpler one. So I for in, yes, that is the input list. If length of I, the length of I is len means the length function is greater than n. Okay, so print answer. So I feel this is the most easiest way of doing it without increasing your time complexity. Okay, I has done so much here in this. Again, this is too complicated. User 01. Maybe this much effort is not needed. So just you need to print the list, right? So why you are formatting in that way, I don't know. But anyway, if it works for you, again here also you are unnecessarily using the range function. So always understand within the for loop, if you're again combining with the range function, your time complexity will definitely increase, right? Here you are not using the range function. So this solution might be better compared to the other solutions. Or else the, okay, here this is the most basic one. Yeah, Aditya has given the brute force approach. So this approach is the most basic one. So again, here also, Aditya, you can remove this range function. For I in range length of L, I think this is not required. So why are you using range here? So instead of that, you can just mention for I in L, okay? Then instead of len of L of I, what you can write here is if mm, length of I is greater than n. This much is enough, right? Then you are creating one more list, that is L2. Okay, no problem. So L2 dot append I. Then print L2. This much is enough, right? So unnecessarily here you are wasting the space. So the problem with Aditya's code is space complexity. Okay, so I'll just remove and keep his code. So here what he's doing, he's creating extra list comparison here, L of 5. Then again L2 dot append L of 5. So instead of that, what you can do, instead of using range function, directly mention the string. So what is our string? L, right? So for I in L only you can mention. See, whenever the input is string, you need not use range function, correct? Because by default it will access the elements and find out the total number of words in it. Then each word you can access directly by using the index variable, length of 5. Then directly L to the append of 5. So this is also one way to do it. But this is called as the simplest way, where you are comparing for every word in the list. If length is greater than n, you will append it, right? Otherwise, you will skip it. Then finally, you are printing the resultant output, that is L2. So see here, each student is trying to solve in different way, but companies will always give the priority to, whether your approach is simplest or whether your approach is, reducing the time and space complexity. Unnecessarily are you writing the complicated code, so they will check your way of coding also. So it is not about just matching the test case nowadays. So a lot of conditions are there. So because many people are able to take the courses, there are a lot of channels, YouTube channels, content is there, but people don't have clarity what is the best way, correct? So always try to give importance to whatever the coding that you are doing, is it the better approach or not? Okay, then only it will help you to crack the exams. Otherwise, this same code what you are able to match the Moodle test case may not work in their platform, because they might take more time to match the test cases. So always give importance to time and space complexity. Give analysis to whether in your code are you doing anything unnecessary operations which is not required. So in that way, if you learn, definitely your knowledge will be improved day by day. Okay. So this is the question which involves list also and even string also, right? Hope others are able to understand the whatever the people are doing here. So what the approach that I wanted to explain is the last one, right? So here we read the input for I in L. If length of I L, then L dot append of I. So this is simplest approach. So I don't worry about whether I can write like this or not, because as long as I am following the basic approach, I'll be happy. So you guys need not to worry. First, always try brute force approach. If it is not working, try to find the different approach, right? So always try whatever you can do it easily. If that doesn't work, go for the next version. Okay. Now the next question, be ready. Separately means each on separate line. Each on separate line. Then check if they have strings, or you can take to list of to list integer list. Read to integer lists, each on separate line, and then check if both the lists have at least one common number. This is your task, right? So hope you understood it. Same approach. Just see the different questions I'm giving you. Maybe others might feel it easy, some might feel it difficult, but you should be able to understand these questions. Okay, so read two integer lists, each on separate line, and then check if both the lists have at least one common member. Then what should be your output after this? Print yes or no. That's what I want. Just print yes or no. If they have common member, print yes. If they don't have common member, then print no. Print yes if they have common member, common number. No. So that is the requirement. So try to solve this one. Same, it is like similar to your previous example where we were trying to find out the length. Here we are trying to find out the common number. Okay. Hemant, good that you tried, but wait for my instructions. So only when I ask you to send the output, then I'll get to know how many of you are able to do it fast. So let it be competitive. So don't share the code until I ask you guys to do it. Got it? Each of you can analyze how much time you're taking. One guy is taking more time, one guy is taking less time, right? So at least 5 minutes, everyone should try. And now let's go step by step. What should be the first two lines? Can anyone only tell me the first two lines? So let us take the name as list one. So follow the brute force approach only. Don't use any mm, extra functions, right? Int of input. Okay, very good. L1 equal to int of input. Then list 2 equal to int of input because we want to read the two list. Next, after this, what is the requirement? You just need to check if both the list have the common number, at least one common number. If yes, there is, right? You have to print yes or otherwise no. Okay. Yeah. Next should be what? Obviously, you need to iterate both the list. Compare first list with second list for I in range. Okay, very good. For I in again, is range required? Let's try. So what is the problem here? Input dot split you out right now. I think you forgot to mention the split. Will not work because again we have to use map function. So I think hope you understood. Correct. So yeah, so this guy is used Abbas Hussain. So either you can use map function or list comprehension. So what is that way? Int of I or I in input dot split. Okay. See, first step is very important. If you go wrong there only, so you'll get a lot of syntax errors. So this is one way. What is another way? We saw it, right? So list one equal to list of map of int comma input dot split. This is another way, right? So you can use any method, whichever you are able to understand. Then list equal to list of map of int comma input dot split because we want to separate by space and integer data we require. So map function we are using. Okay. Guys, you need to have patience, okay? So don't send the answers as long as I ask you guys because you are putting others into pressure. So only when I say time is up, you can send it. Have I know you are excited, but still let others give some chance. So what happens is the people won't even try. That's the problem. Okay. So control your answers as long as I ask. Okay. Fine. So what you have to do, you have to compare each element from A list one, compare with list two. Correct. So for I in list one means you are traversing the list one. Then what I have to do? You have to compare if that I is there in list two or not. That's what you have to do. So for I in list one, if I in list two. So initially you have read two lists, right? You're just comparing one by one. If that index value is there in list two or not, you're checking. If it is there, what you have to do, you have to use some flag variable, right? So flag variable concept you might be already aware of. So let us initially make that flag variable as false. Okay. That means we are assuming that there is no common number present. Suppose if it is present, what you have to make that flag variable is true. Okay, so if it is present, make that flag variable is true. And obviously, what is the question? Check if both lists have at least one common number. That means as soon as if you found it, you need not to continue it. You can just break the loop because I am just looking for one common number. So I don't want to say how many common numbers. That is again becomes a different question. At least one common number. If I get it, I have to stop the loop and I have to print that both the list have at least one common number. So if this condition is true, which condition? If flag is equal to true, or you can just write if flag. By default, it will be evaluated to true condition. So what you will do? Print yes, otherwise else. Print no. Okay. So this is what we are expecting. So for this question, we require flag variable, obviously, just to keep track of whether we find the duplicate, I mean the common number or not. Okay, in both the list. So let us enter some values. This is the first list. Second list is okay, so I'm getting the output as this because 3 is the common number in both the list. So this is the syntax. Now let us see your solutions, right? So we'll do one thing next time. People can try your solutions, right? And I'll explain my method and try to compare whether your method is similar or we will discuss whose method is performing better, right? So here instead of using flag variable, he's using the count. So if there is a common number, he's incrementing the count to print if his count is greater than or equal to 1. Else, no. So most of them are correct. Of them are used. Yes, so we'll try this solution, whether it works or not. The other problem is indentation. Right. So again, the problem here with this code is Vinay's code is printing multiple times. Yes, again, so he has to use the break method. But this will not. This is not an exactly correct solution. Can anyone tell me why? Why this is not the exactly correct solution? Because I asked you to read the list of integers, correct? So you have to read the list of integers only. Because I knew if I just mentioned the list of strings, this is the simplest approach. Because this will be treated as a strings, right? S1 and S2. And for I in S1 and S2 means you are comparing the individual elements directly. Okay, so this might be becomes a easier solution, easier question. So that's why I changed that to integer values. So if it is integer value means you have to compare one by one. So next solution, most of them will use the same approach. Here he has used list comprehension. I for I in N, if I in S. Yeah, so I wanted this one also. Correct. So for the same question, Always be careful with your indentation. So what is the change here? Same problem. I for I in N if I in yes, right? So this is a bit confusing, list comprehension. So list comprehension technique you can use only if you're able to understand it. Otherwise, always follow the normal brute force way. So for I in list one, if I in list two, this is what we did, separate line, but same line is combined into single line using list comprehension. I for I in N, if I in yes, okay? That means if it is there, then only it gets stored into the answer. So true condition. So if the length of answer greater than one, print yes. Okay. Yeah. So say that your solution again unnecessarily you are using the range function, length function. See, the more the number of functions you use, the more the time complexity. Always try to see if you can avoid the unwanted functions. Okay. And again, Isaac Manohar. So unnecessarily you are appending it. So what is the problem if you append it? You are doing extra operation, right? And to use append, you are using the inbuilt function. So again, you are putting load on the compiler. So these are the small detailings you should observe. So this is not required. Append is not required here. Correct? This is fine. Yeah. Divyani, Divyani, I don't know whether you already studied list or not, but the same problem can be solved using list also. Since I have not started list, so I didn't explain this method. But there is a list concept as I mean, sorry, there is a set concept. Okay. Uh, Using which also you can solve this problem. But as of now, I just didn't explain that because set we have not yet started. So if in general, set is basically when I is telling it doesn't, what doesn't man? Okay. So set has some inbuilt functions called as intersection, union. So once I start the set explanation, I will be able to give you the explanation. But using set, it becomes much more easier. Same problem can be solved using set also, right? But if there is a condition that you should use it only using the list means this cannot be applied. But again, Shivani, you're wasting some time. Divyani, set one, set two, you are unnecessarily creating right extra operations you are doing. So instead of that, what you can do, just like how you apply list, you can apply set function, set of input of dot split. Decrease, it won't decrease, but it will be similar to your list only. Okay. But sometimes they will say don't use set. Then what you will do that time? So that time you have to use only list concept and do it. But for this particular time, if you solve this using set also, it will be good enough. Or if you using normal approach also, it will work, right? Next, what we are doing set just for those people who don't know set, let's try it once. Suppose if I'm writing print set of list one. So can anyone tell me what is happening here? By default, set removes duplicate elements, correct? Set won't store duplicate elements, correct or not? So by default, set will remove the duplicate elements. Even if you added it, it will always avoid storing the duplicate elements. So there is a no, inbuilt function called as intersection. So these are intersection, union, right? Subtract, minus. All these features are available with the set operations, not with the list. So don't try with again. Can we try intersection with a list? It won't work. So again, all this depends on your basic syntactical analysis, right? So intersection doesn't support the list function, right? Or we can say list doesn't support the intersection function. So if set one dot intersection of set two is basically what it is doing, it is trying to find out the, you know, unique elements. So if there is no unique element, right, then it will print yes, correct? Tuple also removes duplicate element. Yeah, so that's what set tuple dictionary. Those are the collections which we have to discuss after the list operation. Okay. So let us go slowly one by one. So those same problem, you can also do it using set also. Fine. As of now, those who don't know set, you need not worry. We will cover in detail set operations, set functions one by one. Okay, so let's solve few MCQ problems now based on this understanding. Okay, so let's see how many of you are actively learning. So here, wait for my instruction until I say respond. So these MCQ problems, only those who are in the session can able to understand it. So please try to utilize this session, right? Because we face some network issue or server load issue when we conducted online. So I am planning to do the MCQs only during the session, okay? Until we solve that server load problem. So it would be better to learn in real time during the session, okay? Now, based on whatever I'm typing, so this is not like I'll write the code. I mean, I'll write four options, something like that. Whenever I'm dynamically typing, you be active, try to predict what is going on in the question. And as soon as I say, respond your answers, you have to be quickly able to respond with your answers. Okay, so let's do it. So the first problem. Okay, these questions are 90% are on list, slicing, and strings. All of them will be based on list, slicing, and list. Okay, so let us all of you try to see what I'm doing on the screen and try to predict the answer on the go. Okay, so now you can find your answers quickly. What should be the output of this question? Okay. So Nikhil Siddharth, great. User one is telling with space. Karthik has given very innovative answer. GSRSISEST. Okay. Mahesh is telling great yes. Vijay Chandra is telling with the set. I mean with the list he is replying. Okay. Again, many people with space, some people without space. So we see there are 4 to 5 different answers. Majority of them are telling great. Few have got confused with the space and few are with the brackets, few are with the double quotes, single quotes. Okay, fine. So let us try to see what could be the possible output. Okay. So join function, I think if you remember, I discussed this. Okay. If you are able to combine list values together into single value, you can use join functions. So here by default, if you write 2 quotes, that will be treated as a without space. Suppose if I mention space here, then you are getting that extra space. Or if I mention any other character, then that character will be appended in between the each value, right? So since I have not mentioned anything, by default it is without space. So this is what you need to be able to careful, because when you see the multiple choice, you try to randomly guess your answers or make unnecessary mistakes, right? So that you should be able to avoid. So hope you are able to carefully analyzing from now on what is the answers. Okay. So next, we'll see next question. Try to be alert. So let's try to see some practical question. Most of you are watching IPL, I feel. So for example, let's take RCB as they are in very good form, I think. Yes or no? They aren't, right. So let us try to motivate them. So RCB, CSK. Any other favorite team you guys have? Okay, very good. MI. Yeah. So how can you forget SRH? Very good. Okay, so we have IPL teams here. How can you forget the local team? Okay, quickly predict. Very good. So most of you have got it right, correct? Yeah. So I expected the exact answer, and I got the same answer. So some people might think, suppose if there was an option in MCQs between R hyphen C hyphen B hyphen, then C hyphen S hyphen, so you might get confused, right? So here, in this case, each value was a single character. Here, each value is a word, right? So it doesn't matter. So every value that is inside the single quote becomes a single value, right? So you should not get confused with this. Okay. So hope you are able to understand how to approach the given problem. Next question. Okay, so I have a list of values here. So how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll take one more value. Okay. So try to be alert and see who can respond first. Yes. Predict the output. This question. Okay. Any other answers? Lot of answers, lot of varieties. Yes. Last 10 seconds. Anyone want to still guess it? So don't type it and check. Okay. It's very easy. If you type it and check, anyone can guess it. I want you guys to think about it. Okay. So think and try to think it through your notebook. Try to find the logic behind it. So don't type it when I'm typing on your screen and tell me the output. Yes. Okay. Mani Teja is, I think he's trying to teach me only. If -1, then it prints reverse. Correct, Mani Teja? I'm not asking that one. Stick to the question. Okay, so I think we completed the time. So let's see. Okay, so many people sent. So I want exact answer. You are not using the exact answer. Okay, so always use the exact answer. So here there is a bracket compulsory because it is a list. And when you are using list with slicing concept, bracket will be there. So what is this concept? Slicing method, right? So what is the 3 colon slicing? I think 2 colon slicing I explained you. That is start, stop, and step. That is a rule, right? So start value is not mentioned, stop value is also not mentioned, but step value is mentioned. So what is the step value? -2. So -2 means what we are trying to say, we are accessing the values for every step, right? So starts start set is not mentioned means obviously it will be skipped. So from the backside, minus it is backside, right? So including that value, okay? So 1000 is printed, then 89 is printed, again 89 is printed, 56 is printed, 34 is printed. So basically we are in the reverse order only we are accessing, but with the step of 2, but including the start value. Since the start value is not mentioned, so you might get confused. So many people have given that answer only because see, always it's -1, -2 in that order it goes, right? -3 in that way it goes. Since -2 it is mentioned, I think few answers were from 455. That's why I got so many answers from 455. So it is not the case. -2 is not the start value. What is the start value? Start value first comes under the first column. Since there is no value mentioned here, it will from the back side, it will include the starting value, correct? Then it goes from that position, right? So from here, step of 2. Step of 2 means in the reverse direction, -2. So 1000, then 2 step by 89, again 2 step, 89, 56, 34. So hope this question you are able to understand because sorry sir, I'm out to fill. Yeah. Suppose the same question if I just write by this work, you will just get all the output in the reverse order because what you are trying to say. Hmm? So step of 1 from the back side. Or if I just give 1, it goes in the forward direction. So same problem if I give instead of -2 +2, you are going from the left side, including the start value. Now, hope you are able to understand. Since the start value is not mentioned, by default, we starting from 0th position, that is 34. So 34, 56, 89, 89, and 1000. So in that order, we are going. Got it? So try to analyze it carefully. So to get this kind of MCQs correct, you should have the syntactical knowledge. So start, stop, and step. You need to be very careful with that. So I think many people considered -2 means 455. That is not correct because it is a step value. It is not the start value. Hope you got it right. Any doubt in this? Question. No problem. Okay. Yes. Next, what I want to do, print A finally. Try to predict. Don't type it. Don't copy from each other. Pure ticking. Then only we'll be able to understand. Yes, the output. Thirteen, 56, 89, 100, 45, 90. Okay. Few more answers. Okay. Right. So you can check your answers. I think except few people, most of you got it right. So there is a difference between append and extend. I think this comes under list functions, right? List inbuilt functions. So let us change this to, instead of bracket, I'll just mention 100. Now there is no change, right? It is showing like a normal list. See, append is basically what does it do? Whatever you write inside that function, it will append it as it is. So there is a difference between append and extend. Okay. So append means it will just keep exactly whatever you are mentioning inside that function, right? Whereas extend will take the iterator, that is a list iterator, then copy each value, which we mention inside in that extend function into the list. So it will extract each value without appending the brackets. Correct. So there is a slight difference between how you are doing it. So let us try to just write 4590. So why it is not working? See here. What is the error? Type error. List.extend takes exactly one argument. So what do you mean by this one argument? What is the syntax of extend? You can mention as many values as you want, but they should be a single list, correct? They should come under a single list. Now you see all the values are treated as a single list. So there is a difference between append and extend. You should be very careful in terms of understanding these functions, okay? Because many people think both are same. So a dot append, a dot extend, there is a very minor differences there, which you should be carefully able to analyze. Let us take some theory question for those people who like theory questions. Okay. So which of the following creates the list? Okay. Let's or you can select if all of them means you can select all of them. If none of them means you can select none of them. So first option I'll give to you guys. Sir, is extend more efficient than appending a list? See, you can't compare them in that way. Extend is basically used to combine two lists. Okay. Append is for adding each element one by one, right, based on the operation. So they are having totally different requirements. So you can't tell one is better than other, right? For example, you can't tell suppose whether bowlers are more important than batsmen or batsmen are more important than bowlers. You can't tell like that. Both are required. Based on the situation, you require their skill set. Okay. So list one equal to list. So which of the following creates the list? What is the correct way? Correct way. Okay. Right. So basically, what are the first two methods? Very good. So first two methods basically are creating the empty list, whereas this is creating a list of integer values, right? So either you can use the inbuilt function list or just put the empty brackets that will also create the list. Here, compile time initialization. Basically, you are mentioning the values one by one. So this is not that difficult to understand. Okay. So we'll take few more questions for your clarity. Okay. Now, write this code and try to predict the output because all these operations I explained in the last session. List operations. Yeah, see there are two print statement means you have to send two outputs. Simple. You can't send one output only. Two print statements are there, right? So obviously there is two separate values that are getting printed on the screen. So those who are sending only one answer, I think you should think carefully about the logic. If you are sending only one output, so try to think your output 20, 50, 60, 70, 40. Okay, okay. A lot of answers, different answers. Yes, keep it coming, keep it coming. Okay, fine. Let's try to see what is happening. Again, see, we are operating with the list means whenever you try to print the list directly, always brackets will be there. So try to utilize the bracket. Without the bracket, don't send me the answers. Okay. So now pop function, what does it do? It will remove the last element from the list by default. So what is our last element? 40. So 40 is getting deleted. So 20, 40, 50, 60, 70 is our output. Then that remaining values we are printing. Correct. Then next what we are mentioning, a dot pop 2. So pop function takes the index as the parameter, right? Argument. So that means we are removing the second element, second indexed element from the remaining list. So don't try to apply on the existing list, the remaining list. So what is our remaining list? This is our remaining list, right? So not this original one. So many people do that mistake. So already you updated at this point. Then again pop function, you are updating on the remaining elements. So 0, 1, 2. So that means 50 is getting deleted. So 20, 40, 60, 70. So a lot of people gave different answers. So hope you got understanding. How many you got it right? Just analyze yourself where you went wrong. Okay. I think only few people got it right. This is correct. Aditya got it right. Samuel got it wrong. Naina got it wrong. Anybody else? Yeah. Advaita got it right. Vijay got it right. Okay, so try to think about the logic carefully. Sir, will this expression for the first one remove 40 and for the next one remove 50? Yeah, yeah. So if you know the explanation, that is good, but understanding is important. Okay. During the MCQ session, first round will be MCQ as I told you guys, right? So you don't have time to think because in 60 minutes you will be solving 60 problems. So you should be very careful while selecting the answers. So no one will ask you to explain the MCQs, correct? Only coding problems they will ask you to explain, but filtration will be the first round will itself will be the MCQ. So that time you don't have much time to think about the logic and all, right? So you should be very careful while selecting your answers. Okay. You gap so that you can analyze carefully. Okay, so let me write the numbers. Okay, so I've given you the four options. Okay, so which one of the above will join two lists? Correct. Which of the above will join that both the lists? Basically, I want combination of both the list. So output should be RCB SRH. That's what we want. So which option is correct so that we can extend one list with another list. Okay, very good, very good. A lot of answers are coming. Three, most of you are saying it three. Okay. Any other answer? Fine, I think we can, let me try this one. Okay, so based on your input, so let us see the third one, right? So what is our third one? This one, right? So let us print that result. Okay. So why I'm not getting any output here as per your selection, or we can just remove them. Now let us try the other method. Okay. Now most of your answers have been changed. Okay. So RCB, SRH. So what was the problem with your answer? Previously, most of you given the choice as three. Now suddenly everyone changed their answers to one. What is the problem? We have to understand, right? So this is our solution, right? So you can't directly use the extend function as it is without using the dot operator, correct? So to use any operators, you should use the extend is not defined. So obviously second option is definitely not going to help you. And again, result dot extend list one comma list two. This is also not correct because extend will only accept exactly one argument which you already seen. So here we are mentioning two arguments. Definitely this is also a syntax error, type error. So we can't use this also. If I just use res dot extend, it will be none because res doesn't have any value there, right? So what is the correct sentence? So list one dot extend list two. Can we do this? Yes, very good. So list one should be a string. So this is not working because each of them are a single characters, right? So this is a character array. It is not a string. So extend, you should always understand how what is the syntax of extend. Extend in Python. So go through the syntax. Then you will get the complete understanding. Okay. See here. Only if it is a string, it will extend. But what I have given here, I have given the characters. Just to confuse you guys, I've given the characters here. But last time when we explored this extend function, what is that we learned? Extend method adds the specified list elements to the end of the current list, any iterable, right? So that is one of the reason. Okay. So it is not iterable one. So what is the way to convert this into iterable? Again, convert them into a single RCB, each character combine into a single string using join function. Then after joining, you can add it with the SRH in the remaining, right? So in that way, you can try to match with the output. But in this case, what is the correct answer? The first one is the correct answer because by default, plus operator will try to extract each character from the string and try to append them together. So list one plus list two, this is extending basically, or which is joining both the lists. So you should be careful in analyzing this kind of tricky MCQs. This is a tricky one because until you have a clarity, you will try, will be, there is a probability that you might get it wrong. Okay, so I have two more problems. Let's see how many of you get it. What we have to do is Or as you guys remember, there is a max function in the list. Now I'm trying to apply that max function on the list of strings. So try to predict the output here in this case. So max we are trying to apply on the list of strings. So basically max will help you to find out the maximum number or the biggest number in the list, right? But since we are not dealing with the numbers in this case, we are having the list of strings. So what will be compared? Whether it will be comparing ASCII values or whether it will be comparing the alphabetical order. So try to think in that way. Okay. Vinay is telling length. Neha is giving Python. Fine. Any other answers? Python we are getting. A lot of answers are Python. Yes. College. Shashank is college. Justin is telling they'll be compared with ASCII value. Okay. Amulya college. Nikhil college. Okay. So now most of you are telling the answer is college. So let us try to see. No one got it right. I think, okay, only one person got it right. Mani, Vinay, Kiranmai, two, three people got it right. So those who got it right, can you tell me what is happening here? Vinay Shri, can you tell me? Or Kiranmai, anyone? Why it is printing great? Compares the ASCII values. Okay, so that is the basically the comparison. ASCII values are compared, right? So try to check the ASCII values of capital G and small c. So in general, uh, the small case letters have the higher value than the uppercase letters. That is simple to remember, right? So small case letters always have the higher ASCII values compared to the uppercase letters. In the small case again, now there are two values. G is there, C is there, right? In this case, suppose what will happen. Now tell me, I have just changed it. Will it be still great? Instead of gr, instead of Python, I have given grcit. So it is grit only. So what in this case, what ASCII values are getting compared? Are we comparing G compares E and C? So not E and C, C and I, right? So it is comparing the ASCII value of G. G is already common, so it goes to the next character. RR is again common, it goes to the next character. Next character is I here and C here. So in between I and C, who is coming later? Correct? In the lexicographical order. We call it as a what order? Lexicography. That means in the ABCD order, right? Alphabet order, whoever is coming in the later part, that character will be having the highest ASCII value. So here I is coming after C. So obviously I has the highest ASCII value. So it will stop there only and it will print the grid until it finds out the which character is having the biggest value. Why it is printing grid A? Because after grid A is coming here. Same, correct? So in that way, you should be able to understand the given syntaxes. Okay, so last two questions we will take and you can wind up for the day. So hope you are able to learn the list in a better way. To do like this, definitely a lot of syntaxes will be clarified. Let me take the name as list1 because list is an inbuilt function. So don't use the list as the list name. Always use some number after that. Okay. So try to predict the output of this code. Obviously, two print statements means there will be two outputs. Okay. G123, R123. Lot of different answers. So can we call it as a nested list, right? Or you can call it as a 2D list. Just like we have a 2D array, when you are using two indexes, right? It becomes a 2D array or a 2D list. So here we are mentioning 0 and 1 means what is 0 in the original list, correct? This is a 0th value and this entire list is a first value. So let us try to print it. So the output is, again, many people send with a bracket, some people are sending without bracket. So in this case, we are accessing the individual character from the list. So there won't be any bracket, right? So we have to be careful with your selection. So 0th index means the grid college is at the 0th position, right? So 0th index, this is first index. So what we are saying, from the 0th index, extract the first character. So what is our first character? R. In that again, 0, 1, that is R. So we're getting R on the screen. Then what we are saying here, from the first index, extract the third value. So again, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So what is our third value? Starting from 0, 123. So 123 is getting returned here. So you should be able to carefully analyze. So here it is a concept of nested list. So what it is called as nested list, where one list is inside the another list. Okay. So this is a list which we have embedded inside the another list, and this is a normal string. The list can become combination of different data types, right? So that's what we are checking here. One is string and one is a list itself, right? So hope you understood this one. Okay. Okay. Try to predict this one. So is it called as a slicing concept? Correct. So are we using slicing here? Yes, there is a colon. In the second line, there is a colon, right? So obviously we are using the slicing. Then in that, are we trying to add the elements or remove the elements? We have to be careful about it. Okay. A lot of people, most of them are giving the same answers. List is immutable. Justin is very confident about it. Justin, so try to read the theory properly. Lists are mutable always. That means you can always change the list elements. So only immutable elements can be used as dictionary keys, and only tuples and not strings can be used as a case. So basically lists comes under the mutable. Mutable means where you can change the values from the original list, correct? So hope your doubt is clarified, Justin. So Vijay Chandra the session. Most of you are giving the same answer. Let me check it. Okay. So hope you understood. So what we're trying to do here is, are we appending the list or not? Appending the list by removing the original values, right? So what we're trying to tell to the compiler is append 100, 200, 300 into the original list, not completely, but in the position from 1 to 4, excluding 4, including 1. That means what is the value at our first position? 8. So 8 gets deleted, right? Then at the second position, 12. 12 gets deleted, right? And in the third position, 16. 16 gets deleted. Then fourth position is 56. 56 we won't delete because excluding 4 we are telling to the compiler. So 8, 12 and 15, 6 are appended with the new set of values which are 100, 200 and 300. Correct? So hope you got idea, those who are able to solve it. And again, brackets, some people are using, some people are not using. So here obviously we have to use a bracket because we are printing the entire list. Simple. When you are printing the entire list with the list name, bracket is always appears. If you're extracting a single character, then bracket won't appear, right? So it's as simple as that. Okay. So hope you got some clarity on the list. So did you enjoy this MCQ questions? So is it able, are you able to, you know, understand how are your confidence level through this list? So, so in the coming sessions, we will try to conduct this kind of MCQ. Maybe I'll go a bit fast, not like today. Maybe maximum 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, we have to solve 15 or at least 10 questions in that way. Okay. Any doubts you have? So try to practice all the syntaxes theory in this way. Try to experiment with the syntaxes. Definitely, you'll get a lot of clarity. So all these MCQs, I've tried generally. I try to think what happens if I try like this. Then only I'm able to give you this kind of MCQs, right? So without me trying first, I can't come and explain confidently like this. So you have to try with your codes, whatever you are practicing. Definitely, you will be able to get more clarity on the topics. Understood? So how many of you felt this MCQs are easy or tough? Let's try to next 2 minutes try to respond. Easy or tough or difficult? Whatever you saw today, MCQs. Does print add space? Yeah, that is by default. That is by default. Yeah, a bit easy, sir. What about others? Ala, did you get all the questions correct? Or did you go somewhere wrong? 1 or 2 questions. But definitely average. 9 is telling average. So based on your feedback, I will try to make the bit questions bit tough or again bit average. So you have to tell me how you are feeling about the topics. If you are feeling it easy, let us do some more complicated problems, right? But since you all of you are in the first year, I'm thinking about all the 1,000 students and taking the questions. Okay. So hope you are able to understand these questions. Those who feel it easy, no problem. You have a lot of complicated quizzes also coming up in the next sessions, right? So in the next week, I mean next session, that is on Friday. In Friday session, we will solve for some problems on the strings. Okay, string problems, right? We will see how the set works. Set and tuple we will explore. String problems, set and tuple. Then problems on that. Problems on set and tuple. Okay. Then some MCQs based on the topics, based on this set and tuple. So in that way, you can revise your knowledge and see where you are going wrong. Fine. And I have given enough time to complete the assessment one problem. So until next week, once everyone comes back from their holidays, I'm not going to add any new questions. So try to complete assessment one problems as well as slices based problems. Then by next Monday, I will add new questions based on the list as well as strings. Okay, so you can keep waiting for the questions. Try to complete the existing questions, and by Monday, you will be able to see the new questions based on list and strings. Okay, based on whatever you are learning, same concept it will be. Most of the questions will be able to apply the same concept whatever we are discussing in the sessions. Fine. So we will see in the next session, that is on Friday. Two gone wrong, sir. Got confused between. Okay, no issue. Fine. So I'll see you guys in the next session. Enjoy your holidays. Thank you.